What is happening, everybody? It's Noob Get Good here, and today we're going to take a look at what the beta for the Marvel Avengers game looks like. Give you a brief overview of what you could do in the game and some background footage of one of the harm missions. There's no spoilers in this video, it's just one of the sort of horde mode missions going on, which you can repeat constantly going forwards. But I want to give you my first-hand impressions of what worked well, what didn't work well, and my general feelings of the game so far, just in this beta phase. I'm going to go over some of the things that I've got issues with, some of the good stuff, and some of the things that I want as an enhancement as we go towards the first the launch in September. So first off, just want to lay it out on the cards. This game is great. I love this game. I'm probably going to have more issues in this video than not. But I've thoroughly enjoyed the time I've played, and I've sunk about 15 hours in, I think, over this weekend. So far into this game, would have played more, but just personal life and stuff. You know, I can't just sit there and play computer games all day, unfortunately. So yeah, this game, this is probably my second most hyped game of the year, behind Final Fantasy VII Remake, and this game has not disappointed me. It looks good. On the screen at the moment, you'll see some of the sort of the gear options, and one thing I've noticed here, as you see here, some of the perks like the Faulkner Spark, Cosmic Sprayer, and Polymorph Modifier, is they actually make a huge difference in builds. I'll have some Black Widow gameplay going on shortly on this, and one of the things there is you can take her twin pistols, put it into one pistol. That's a skill that you can unlock, and we'll go into skills a little bit later. I'll potentially be doing sort of an overview of each character if time dictates before the end of the beta. But yeah, there's stuff in there like I've got a perk on there that if you use a single pistol, you add gamma damage, which once it builds up, it explodes, and gamma's almost like a poison sort of effect. I can tweak that to have a cosmic pin particles, which I don't quite know what they are, but yeah, there is a lot of stuff on there. Other thing, just while it's on the screen as well, is cosmetics. From what I understand, there's no microtransactions in the game. There is cosmetics that you can get using obviously the credits, as you can see here, and the units, which you can buy stuff from vendors in game. I believe you can get this stuff by just playing the game. Nothing else, just play the game and you can unlock these cosmetics. You also get comic books, and the comic books actually have set bonuses in them which are unlocked for all characters, and as you can see here, you know, there is extra set bonuses, and you gain these comics by finding them in game in missions or in the gameplay that I'll show shortly, just completing missions. So what can you actually get in this beta? So there's a couple of story missions that you can't replay before this, and this is the war table, and there's actually surprisingly quite a lot to do. I think it took me about 5-6 hours to clear all of the content. You've got your war zones, you've got your drop zones, you've got your iconic missions, and there's obviously Avengers missions as well. There's the harm missions, and I'll be showing off one of these harm missions in the game gameplay behind shortly. And there you horde mode. There you go through 10 waves of ever increasing difficulty of enemies. You get through the end of that and you get reward. You don't get many drops in terms of gear and stuff until, you know, probably the back end of it. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff here. So let's talk about some of the things that I have issues with, because you know it's easier to start with the negatives and move on to the positives, and I'm going to cover off a few issues, and it's going to potentially sound like the game's trash. This game is not trash. I've had a whale of a blast of this. One of the things that you'll see shortly as we go into this is matchmaking. Now, looking at the Discord server they've got up and running for this, they're fully aware that this is an issue, and they're hoping to have this resolved in time for the beta next weekend, which I think is pre-order across PC, Xbox, and PS4. This week's is just a PS4 exclusive. They must have a deal with PlayStation. There's some stuff with Spider-Man blowing up all over the internet around Spider-Man exclusive for the PS4, which I'm guessing if they've used a model from the Marvel Spider-Man game for it, I've got no problems with that. Just hope it's only a timed exclusive. But matchmaking. I've had a terrible luck trying to matchmake, and you'll see an error code that I get shortly. I think I've managed in all of that 15 hours, and I've not tried constantly, but matchmaking isn't the best. You'll see the error message coming up. So what happens is there's 4 characters in there. You matchmake, and I believe you can only use one of the same character per one. We've got Mr. Iron Man coming in, and as you can see, the 2 boxes underneath aren't welling around. So potentially, it's looking like someone could be joining. You sit there for a bit. Is it coming? And nothing. And then I'll click launch mission in a moment, and it fails to join. And yeah, so matchmaking is an issue. I've had one mission, harm mission that was, where I could actually join other people. So actually had a group of 4 on there. It's not a massive issue. You can, I think that's just if you're going into sort of the public domain and just trying to, match like I am. There's literally no one else in my PS4 friends list is actually playing this beta because I haven't pre-ordered it. This is a pre-order bonus. I pre-ordered this, and I pre-ordered this last year. So yeah, that's how much I've been hyped for this game. But as you can see here, you can go and play solo, and it brings your companions in. Your companions are actually what you've got in game. So if I've only just played Black Widow the whole game, then Iron Man, Hulk, and Ms. Marvel would be level 1 base stuff. So you've got some background stuff in the background, obviously, just as I talk through this stuff. So yeah, so you get your companions in and they scale up, so you can actually set up your other characters for a certain build, bring them in as an AI companion, and generally they work okay. If you run out of health, which I don't do in this, you die, and they actually come over and try and revive you, which is really, really good. Yeah, so matchmaking, bit of an issue. Other issues I've had is in some of the other missions. There's one particular mission, I think it's to tame a Titan, which is like the hardest mission in the game. There's a ton of enemies on the screen, even more than this, and the background particle effects, it's insane. It looks great, and I'll come on to that stuff. That's one of my good points. But there's so much on the screen going on, and this is just I'm using a base PlayStation 4 here, literally day 1 edition. I got this on PlayStation 4 release day. My frame rate's just tanked at some point, and I was streaming this on Twitch, and subplot. If you're interested in this game, I'll be streaming this on Twitch most weekends. Plus, when it goes live, I'll be streaming the actual game. But yeah, I've had some issues with the frame rates. Obviously, this I think is going to come out in the PS5 for no additional cost if you've got it. Can't quite remember that. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, frame rates have been really, really bad. And I'm not sure if you realise the other sort of negative point that I've got on this is when you go into the gear screen, which I showed earlier, where you can select your build, the equipment and stuff. Switching between each of the different pieces of gear. Now, there's only 4. It has an animation on the character on the right, and it's really clunky as you go through. You select a piece of gear, and you get Destiny style. You get sort of 9 additional slots. You go across onto one, and it just takes eternity for it to come up. So I'm guessing that's just a performance tweak, which they might hopefully work on. I've already given this feedback on the official Discord server anyway. And then my only other complaint that I've got for this game is, as you're going through the missions, when I was selecting Black Widow, I had all 4 available. There are some points where I could not select a character. Now, I can understand that if I've got matchmaking enabled and, I've joined a lobby of 2, so I've only got 2 characters left. But I had matchmaking disabled, so I should be able to free reign anybody to select anybody, and I couldn't. There are some points where I couldn't use Ms. Marvel and Black Widow. I had to use Iron Man or Hulk, and vice versa. So it's a bit weird. I don't know why that is. Again, it's been picked up on the forum in the Discord, and it's all good. So, what is good about this? Now, I'm hoping you can see in the background the actual core gameplay of say, Black Widow is my favourite character of playing. The characters all feel unique. So there's 4 playable characters. Well, technically, you can play 6. You get to play as Captain America and as Thor in the opening Golden Gate Bridge level, which has been in all trailers and a lot of the press releases. You get to play them very, very briefly. But in terms of the actual, once you get into the nitty-gritty of the content, you play as 4: Hulk, Iron Man, Ms. Marvel, and Black Widow. they're all completely different play styles. Obviously, Iron Man can fly around. Black Widow's right up in the face, pummeling away. You've got pistols to a little bit of range damage. Hulk is just a brute. He has a button, you push R2 and he goes into his rage mode and he does more damage. It uses this rage instead of his health if you get hit. Ms. Marvel is sort of the in-between. It's like half Iron Man, half Black Widow. She's a range melee character. She can do a team heal. She can enlarge herself. She has her abilities can hit miles across the screen. Really, really good. Really, really good. So they're all really, really different. I say I'm probably going to be a Black Widow main on launch because she's just so good. The combat, as you can see, I really enjoyed the combat, and even on a character like Iron Man, who's probably my weakest character playing, it was really, really fluid. And as I was playing it, I was getting more and more vibes of Marvel's Spider-Man. So if you played that on the PlayStation 4, or if you've seen that on the PlayStation 4, especially playing as Black Widow, I was getting a lot of Marvel Spider-Man vibes playing. Just how fluid it is. She's using a grapple to close up an enemy, pummel them. There's certain things, you'll probably see a prompt for triangle square coming up in the background footage. Here's Mr. Hulkbuster Iron Man, that's his special, or his ultimate you should call. So you get like an ultimate and you get two specials. So for Black Widow, my L1R1, which you'll see later on in this, increases her damage, increases her stun. There's a bar. If you see this bloke coming, he's got his health bar, which is all white. And as I start hitting this guy, there's a white line that comes underneath. This is her ultimate, by the way. Yeah, that white line underneath is a stun meter. As soon as they're stunned, you can then do a takedown. And there we go, there's the prompt, and this is the takedown. What takedowns do is it does massive damage, but it also recovers your health. So there's green orbs. You can probably see a green orb or green sort of thing on the ground on the floor. That is your health. There's other sort of collectibles that you can get, pin particles and nanites and all this stuff to help upgrade your abilities, or your gear, I should say. So yeah, the combat is really good, and you literally come in, especially with Black Widow, is you grapple onto them, you come in, you do some pummel, they stun really quickly, her abilities recharge really quickly. She's got an invisibility, she's got a group stun, so R1 is you drop down and electrocute them and it stuns. Combat, freaking amazing, and it's what's hooked me. I also think the game looks really, really good. Now, I've just come off the back of playing Ghost of Tsushima, which looks better than this. I'm not going to lie, Ghost of Tsushima looks better than this. But it's still it looks pretty good. The facial animations are really good. The character animations are really, really good. There's just a lot more going on here. What else is good? I touched on it earlier. The gear that you can equip and the powers that they have associated to them actually feel like they make a difference. You know, as I said, there's this gamma. You know, on the pistol that I've got, there's a gamma explosion which ends up poisoning. You can do with your light and heavy attacks on the finisher move, so you keep tapping and it does a combo. At the end of that, you do a finisher, and on that finisher, there's abilities that increase the stun hit on that stun. More stun means more takedowns, more health recovery, blah 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 blah. So yeah, there's a lot of build variety, I think, here. You know, so things like dealing with a shield enemy here. You have to go in, if you stun them, use your heavy attack, you can stun them, break their shield, and unleash on them. So yeah, really, really good stuff. What else is there? So a couple of things, sort of enhancements that aren't a negative, but just things that I want to probably improve for the main game, is the war table which we showed at the start, where that you can select all the missions. I wasn't 100% clear of what was what. So you've got your story missions, which is your Avengers missions, they'll have an A on it. You can track the missions and it puts a green dot on it, which is fine. You then have your drop zones, which are your quick win missions. You go in, you need to hack something, so you go and do a defend point. So there's 3 points, almost like a domination map in sort of first-person shooters. You go and collect them, go and kill some enemies, they try and retake them back, blah 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 blah. And there's other things, you have to go and destroy some turbines or whatever. Quick, you know, 5-10 minute missions. And then you have your I think they're war zone missions, which are a larger, more open worldy type, but they're not open world, but wider, bigger map. There's some special events that are on there, so there's some elite enemies to get some elite gear. And I wasn't sure what I was selecting. There's some text that says drop zone, but it doesn't say war zone, and I just think they just need to tighten up the symbols to show what they are. Give us a little key to saying this is what this mission is, this is what it's going to do. It's going to be a big mission. It's not. And my other little niggle that I have is I was going to play it on hard. There's 4 difficulty settings that on the beta anyway: easy, normal, hard, brutal. And I'm going to probably play some brutal this afternoon just to see what that's like. But I'd set that as what I want to do. I want to play as hard. You know, a bit of a challenge, still get through the content and play the game, see what it's like. And it is especially some of them, if you're underpowered, so obviously you power very Destiny style, get some gear, it has a power rating to it, enemy scale off of power, and I went in at, I think, a power level 11 into a power level 20 mission, and I was getting obliterated. Still completed it, but it was a challenge. It was good. You know, you have to dodge more, parry more, and do all this stuff. But even though I'd selected hard as the difficulty that I wanted, everything was defaulting back to normal. And I was like, I have to go in, select normal, select challenge tier 3, which was hard, even though it was a bit weird. It said challenge difficulty 1, challenge difficulty 2, challenge difficulty 3, challenge difficulty 4. But I wanted to be able to go, wanted to say hard, normal, and it wouldn't default to it. So I just want them to tweak that. So by this time, the background footage of the hard mission is done. There's 3 of them, increased difficulty. That was the easiest one on normal, just to give you some background footage. Now going to have some rewards, and the rewards are good. This is where you get your comics and stuff. But yeah, overall, this is great. I'd highly recommend you pick up the beta when it comes out. It's going to be open at the end of the month. This is great. I'm going to be streaming this on Twitch. My name is Paul, aka Noob Get Good. This has been Marvel Avengers.